Hi, and welcome back to another YouTube video created by me, Lucas Dre, on Red Ink, which is this channel. We're going to goof off and do a Phantom Sealed here. I feel like this is the best time to goof off when you could do a Phantom Sealed, where there's no pressure or anything on the line, other than just having a good time. So we're going to crack open these packs. We don't get to keep any of these, but it's really cool. I've drafted a bunch of this stuff on my Twitch channel under Lucas Dre. Yeah. This is I still don't know every card in this set, and there seems to be a lot of cards I haven't seen yet. Fortified Beach, this is new. I haven't seen this card. As it enters the battlefield, you may reveal a soldier from your hand. Fortified Beach enters the battlefield tapped unless you reveal a soldier or you control one. It taps for a blue or white, and you can pay 5 and tap and give your soldiers +1/+1 until end of turn. That's pretty cool. Then we have Hajar. Loyal Bodyguard, 3/3 for red and a green, 3/3 for 2 mana, legendary, human soldier. You can sacrifice Hajar, the Loyal Bodyguard. Legendary creatures you control get +1 and indestructible to end of turn. That's pretty good. That's a decent creature. We have a command. Commands are usually pretty good. The green one I feel is the best, but this one looks interesting. You can choose two. One is to put 2 +1/+1 counters on up to 1 target creature. It gains lifelink till end of turn. Kind of weak. Destroy each creature with power 2 or less. Kind of strong there. That's pretty strong. Return up to 2 target creatures from your graveyard to your hand. That's pretty good. Each opponent sacrifices a creature with the highest power among creatures they control. Wow, this could be a one-sided Wrath of God or some sort of... Yeah, that's very good. This is a very impressive card for limited. Will of Lost Dreams. This is an older Magic card. I believe this came out of either 5th Dawn or Darksteel. 4 mana artifact. Whenever you gain life, you may pay X, where X is the number of life, where X is the number less than or equal to the amount of life you gain. And when you do, you draw X cards. It's interesting. It could be good. We'll see. We also got Mishra's Command. Visions of Phyrexia I've seen a few times already, but at the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of your library. You may play this card this turn. And then at your end step, if you didn't play any cards from your exile, you put a Power Stone into play. That's pretty cool. It's almost, I almost see you only getting the 1 Power Stone from playing it the first time, because I'm pretty sure you just want all the value you can get, but, there might be a few times when you can't pay it and the Power Stone helps. Let's see, Mishra's Command, 1 red and X, choose 2, choose target player. This is the first one. They may discard up to X cards, then draw that many cards discarded this way. This spell deals X damage to target creature. This spell deals target X to target planeswalker. Target creature gets +X, +0, and haste till end of turn. This is not terrible, but it's not great either. It's nowhere near the same power level as Grix's Command. And we get 2 more cards. In this set, when you do Sealed, you get 2 more cards. Which is kind of cool. So let's check out what those cards are. Mythic and rare. It could be Mythic on here. Doubtful. So we got a Goblin Charbelcher. Another awesome card from Mirrodin. You pay 3, tap it, reveal the top card of your deck until you reveal a land. Charbelcher deals damage equal to the number of non-land cards revealed this way to any target. If a mountain was the card you reveal, you deal double the damage instead, which is fine. And then the other one is the Stonebrain, 2 mana legendary artifact. Pay 2, tap, exile the Stonebrain, choose a card name, search target opponent's graveyard, hand, and library for up to 4 cards with the same name and exile them. That player shuffles, then draws a card for each card exiled from their hand this way. Activate as a sorcery. Probably not going to play that card in my deck. It's just not that good. It can be good, but I don't think it's that good. This is definitely a sideboard card, but we're not looking to do that. We're in the draft. We're in the sealed for fun. So I want to play the Grixis stuff, so I'm going to take a look at the black side first. So we got the Infiltrator. I'm just going to load up my creatures here from here. The Altar is fantastic. 2 Overwhelming Remorses. My god, that's so good. And a Corrupt. Not a lot of black cards. I guess we have this Momentary Defiance. Just fine. Our red is decent. We got 2 Mishra's Onslaught. Chain Dancer's okay. We got a Explosion, which is decent. A Singular, like, plus a Mutt. You know what? Red's looking pretty decent here. Let's see what our black is. Oh, we got the Bushwhack. This card's really good. I think this card theoretically could see standard play. It takes a very specific type of deck, but I think it could. It's good enough because you can search for your basic land, reveal it, put it in your hand. Plus, you can also use it as a fight spell if you don't need the land. It's quite good. Very flexible. When spells are flexible and a cheap rate, they're usually going to be able to find a spot somewhere in standard. Maybe not all the time, but they can. So 4 Argothian sprites. This card has been nothing but amazing to me. With the amount of artifacts you can generate that produce extra mana, those Power Stones are great in the beginning, but if you don't have anything to follow through with them, they're not that great. But this card has been pretty impressive, especially with the guys that generate tokens. Most of all the tokens that are being generated are artifacts, and this card just says, no, I don't get blocked by those. Very good. There's also the Mask of the Jade Crafter. This card's pretty good. I think this is definitely a late game card. This is also a card that benefits from having a lot of Power Stone generators. And if we do get a certain number of those, I think will be cool. So we got the Argothian Opportunist, which is decent. We got the Sarnath Steel Seeker. It's a 1/2 that whenever an artifact enters the battlefield, you look at the top card of your library. If it's a land, you reveal it, put it in your hand. Otherwise, you can put it into your graveyard. You don't have to keep that on top. And we also got 2 Epic Conversations. I'm pretty sure green-black is going to be good here. The Patrol's fine. Let's see. We have this guy. A 3/1 with Ward 2. That's not the worst. And we got 2 guys' gifts. The 3/1 with Ward 2 is pretty good with Epic Confrontation. We do get some good removal. So, yeah. Yeah, I think we could do green-black. I think that'll actually pull off pretty well. With 4 Argothian sprites and a good beatdown strategy here, I think this is going to be pretty nuts. And Gaia's Gift is actually quite strong. But let's just see what we got on the medium side here. We have 4 Rust Goliaths. And we got the Skyfisher Spider. Okay. Okay, green-black it is. Double Evolving Wilds. Let's see what our artifacts can bring us here. The Drake is okay. Power Plant's medium. I do like the Stone Raveler unit when we have a lot of high casting cost spells that are artifacts. I'm going to play the Flask because we have the Corrupt. Flask plus Corrupt in a dual color deck is really huge. Sigil of Valor is really good. We did get punched really hard yesterday by that card. It was pretty brutal, actually. Thran Power Suit is pretty powerful if you get the right cards with it. But we're not there. Let's see. Any of these cards I'm not going to play. Probably not. I think all these cards are quite good. We do need some beef. I think we're going to definitely run some of these Rust Goliaths. These cards are really good. These big giant creatures with the cost reduction, and then you can play them in the late game, is massive. Let's see, creatures wise, we have 14 plus 8 spells. We got the Altar. So the Gitaxian Skull Flare, you get this to trigger once, and this card is paid off for itself. I've been really impressed by it. Our deck looks phenomenal. I guess I'm not really into this tower guard that much. I think I'd rather have a third Rust Goliath. And that should give us 14 still. With Corrupt as a finisher, I think this is fine. With the Gix command is good too. So we have a lot of removal, which is fine. This can search for mana. We might be able to get a third color in here because of our double. Our double evolving wilds is huge. You know what? Maybe we just play four Frust guys. Hmm. We only have the altar that goes well with this. I don't see any others. Well, we definitely... Actually, we do have two Evolving Wilds. So that's good. We play Chromatic Star with our Infiltrator as well. Because that's pretty good. Soul Guide Lantern's okay. Interest, make it Power Stone. You can pay 3, sacrifice an artifact or another creature. Other creatures you control get +1 in menace and haste. That card seems pretty good. And we did get Hajar. I don't think we really need to splash. We have what? How many artifacts do we have? We have one. We don't have a lot of ways to generate artifacts. I think maybe... I think this card might be bad. I think we'd rather have the mask here. Or we just play the mask. And we cut, probably... There's so many things we can do here. I do want another 4-drop. This is fine. We have plenty of 5-drops. Yeah, I think we got the deck that we want to play. We just got to make sure we get the right build of it. I like the mana ramp, especially with the Goliaths. This guy isn't terrible. We have a lot. We have multiple sprites, so that's pretty good here. We added a bunch of artifacts to our deck. I just forgot to put those in the list. Sigil could be in our deck. We don't have that many creatures or ways to generate extra creatures, so that's my only hesitance on this Sigil. But Sigil of Valor is very strong. But we don't have a lot of flyers, so with that being in mind, I don't think we're going to play the Sigil. It's a bunch of 5-drop potential upside late game cards. We definitely cut a land. Play 16. We have multiple ways to spend our mana early. And plenty of cantrip-y cards, which will be good. I think we're only going to play 2 Rust Goliaths, so... Now we just have to cut a card. I guess we could cut a sprite. I think that would be a mistake, though. We don't want to cut any more creatures. We're probably just going to cut an artifact that Might be too much. Maybe we don't need the retrieval unit. Or the patrol can go. I think I'm going to cut the patrol. I'm not a huge fan of it. I think I should. He's a 3/3 for 3, but I kind of like these sprites so much more. Just how they play into the late game is nice. And people just play artifacts. Alright, this looks like a pretty fun list. Let's just go for it. And, yeah. We only have to play a few games. Hopefully we win them. But it doesn't necessarily mean we're going to. But why I'm doing this video is mainly because I just wanted to do something fun, something quick and easy to demonstrate this set. Still adjusting to the patterns. I've done pretty well so far, but, you know, this is a really good hand. I think our pool is really good, though. 1/2 for 1, protection from multicolor. Whenever a non-basic enters the battlefield under your opponent's control, you gain 1 life. Interesting. I don't know how good that would be for, you know. The fact that it's protection from multicolor is pretty interesting. But we only have the 1 multicolored card in our deck. Yeah, Bushwhack is very good. I think they should have waited on that. They might want to fight my Infiltrator, and I'm okay with that. I could have gone with the Sprite here, but I kind of just want to curve out. Because if I draw an Evolving Wilds, I'll want to play it with this card and get in there for 3. This is new. When you draw your second card each turn, he gets counter. When it dies, return another target creature with mana value less than or equal to its power from your graveyard to the battlefield. Wow, that's really good. Yeah, there's a lot of cards I don't know in this set because I didn't go and look through all the set. I'd recommend that highly. If you want to be surprised with a new set, don't go to the cheat list. You don't need it. Nobody needs it. Nobody needs to know what's coming out in the new set. You know, getting overhyped for a set is, I feel, kind of a problem. You don't need to get overhyped. Oh, man. I'm considering attacking here. But that'll probably be a mistake. Maybe not. You know what? I am going to attack. Mainly because if I do trade with these creatures here, I don't really care. The more creatures in my yard, the better this guy gets. And he's not beating me to death with a 1/3 in the air. And like I said at the beginning... Okay. I don't mind making this trade because now I can play these two. Or I play this guy. Yeah, I think I'm going to play this guy into this guy. And we're getting closer to just hard casting this. Not that I think we should. That's where I'm at right now. And now I have a creature that can keep getting bigger. What does this do? Can pay 1 until end of turn. This gets -1, -1, but it gains flying, vigilance, and death. Oh, wow, that's really good. Hmm. I think we just play this card. Because if we hit a green source here, off of my card, if I put that in the play, I can make a 4/4. Or I just cast it next turn. I think this is fine. We'll keep that on top. Can't really attack. So if they give this guy flying, I can still block it. If they want to down tick it and give it death touch, fine. We'll just kill it. Which is fine for me. I'm kind of okay if this is what they want to do. We're just going to make a 5/5 here. And my main reason for doing this is just so we can trade for this. I think we got it from here. As long as they don't do anything too crazy. So this will force them to go in the sky, and then I can trade here if they want to. Wow, it's only 2 mana. Well, I don't want my death touch to happen here. Like, if they want... This is already a problem, but I'd rather just get rid of that guy. And now we have this. Now we have a creature that can be blocked here. Oh, okay. So they got this guy. That's fine. Alright, so we can attack... So this can only get something back with the power of creature with mana value less than or equal to its power, and they have I guess they can get back Sentinel. Not that that's really a problem. I guess I'll just trade for the spider for this, because this is unblockable, essentially. If they want to hide my mask, I'm okay with it. That's fine. Because now I can just pump this up and start swinging. I am going to fight here. Just to get this off the board. I don't want a flyer that eventually could get huge. Or big enough to get back the spider or something. And now we have a 6/6 unblockable. That is pretty good here. We'll attack. Yeah. They still need to provide an answer for this. Now we have a lethal threat that's unblockable. So they either need to gain a bunch of life or win the games for some other means. Okay, so now they got their spider. They get a 1/1. I could double block here, but I think that would be a mistake. I think we're just going to throw a chump at this point. I don't... Because if my plans don't go well, I won't be too excited about that. Alright, we got there. I'm fairly certain if they had an answer to this card here, they would have used it already. Alright, we got a card we already have a playset of, so let's just get to the next game. So, when you're trying to do sealed and stuff, even if you're trying to goof off and whatnot, you want to look for a curve and the most playable way to make that deck. Sometimes you can get these absurd pools that don't look very functional. I was really hoping for one like that with this, but because showing that there are ways to win with bad pools is important. But it's also fun to check out pools that are are pretty good, you know. In this case, I think our pool is pretty good. Like, better than average. We got a lot of good removal spells. Which usually is not the case for me. We could have led on the Elsewhere Flask here, because I don't... On its own, this card is not going to win me the game. And our hand's a little wonky, so... Yeah. We don't have any 1-drops other than that one fight spell. I think it's worth just casting this here. Because we could definitely get a better hand. Okay. I'd rather trade this for their 3-1 at this point. Just because of how far behind we are. And then have a 4-drop instant speed removal to challenge their next threat. Would be nice to have. But this might need them to not block, attack, or get a fight spell out of their hand, which is just fine. Okay. Really don't have much of a play here. I could just play the Reach Creature. But I do like saving this to just break a good card. I think, yeah, we'll just play this and pass. So the Magnagrit Altar is really good. Yeah, cards like Aeronaut's Wings is kind of the reason why I hesitated on the Spider. But we do have other outs here. I think we are going to just make the trade because we don't need to take a buttload of damage. And we have plenty of other creatures in our deck that this is just not going to be a big deal for us. We can be in a serious problem here, but I don't think so. Because even if they have the fight spell to kill, it would still be just a trade. Though they could have a exile, like artifact disruption spell, but you know, I gotta take that chance. Okay. They do 8 damage to us here. But they have no way to sacrifice our card, so we get to keep it. Alright, so we drew a Corrupt. I think we want to hold off on this. And we have a removal spell. Granted, this does have Ward 2, which is annoying. But if they do have a removal spell, we can sacrifice it at instant speed. So I think we're just going to hold off on it. Because this holds the board pretty well. That's a pretty good card. So this can turn your power shards into 4/4s, which is pretty insane. Okay, your guy will no longer be equipped. Yeah, this is a lesson for those people who don't understand how equipment work. When an equipment or any permanent that's attached to another permanent becomes a living creature, it falls off. It's a big oops because now I can kill their wings, which was a problem. This is a problem, but I can handle it. All right, so we make a power stone here, and we could. I think we'll just say go. Because they can't make their Thopter into a 4/4 because it's already a creature. But they can turn this into a 4/4. Oh, that's pretty scary. Okay, not bad, not bad. We have 6 mana. So what I think I'm going to do here is play my Fisher and sacrifice the Opportunist to kill this. And then use the Goliath to kill this guy. And then we can punch in for 4. Hmm. Yeah. So we go Spider, sacrifice, kill. Goliath gets to come back next turn as a 5/3. Maybe we don't do that. I guess we just we do kill. I think we do kill the Animist here, though. And we just pass. We can't really make the attack. I forget my life total's at 8. Looking for different music. You may put an artifact from your hand onto the battlefield. That artifact gains haste. Sacrifice it at the beginning of your next step. Well, if they had an artifact in their hand, they wouldn't be able to play it. Ooh, that's pretty good. The bodyguard. I think we swing the spider and see where if they block or not. I need to put some pressure on my opponent because if they draw like one of those big artifacts and they can just slam it into play, we're probably dead. And if I can trade for some of their permanents, that's fine too. Okay, so I think I'm just going to go for the big corrupt to the face, just so we can close this game out at a reasonable pace, and also push our life total up, so we can afford to just take a hit for 5. So we're going to sacrifice our Elsewhere Flask and make all our lands swamps. And then we can corrupt for 6 to the face and gain 6 life. So now they're going to go to 11, and we're going to go up to 14. And now we can at least afford a hit. And now our 3/5 still keeps these two back. But, you know, they get at least to get in with the Mishra. By opening the door here, I kind of get them to voluntarily do this. They're probably going to do this anyways. But just in case they had a good play they could make here, they might be more tempted to use Mishra here. And that's okay with me. Looks like they might have gotten a good card. Yeah, okay. So this has to attack. And we can afford to take 5 and go to 9. This gets exiled. I'm going to keep attacking with this spider. If they want to trade for it, I'm fine with that. So I can play this guy. And what I'm thinking about doing is sacking him. Just make a 3/3. I could also sack the spider, gain 2 life, and then make a 3/3, which is fine. But this also has reach. Yeah, I think it's supposed to just turn this into a 3/3. Although this is a... Actually, this is a really good creature. Yeah, we're just going to sacrifice our spider here. Make a 3/3, and then gain 3 life. So we want to take that action just because we want to pump our life total up more. We drew a land, so I'm going to play it. There's no point in this deck where I have the potential of drawing a 10/10 for 10. If I just hit land drops, it's not great, but it's also not bad because I have a lot of these Argothian sprites in my deck, which require 7 mana to just pump into, but it's totally worth it. Okay, so my guy can't block, which means he's going to be attacking. I will trade here. This is a fine trade, and I'll take the 3. So they can't block the 2. I can't block with this guy, so I gotta attack with him. Since I can only pump once, I'd rather just do this attack like this. And then I'll play another guy, and then I'm gonna sacrifice my golem here, because he can't block, so he's no longer good for that. And we'll get another blocker. They do have this card here that gives haste, and if we can afford a block from that, that'll be fine for me. Mishra's Domination. That's a pretty good card. It says... Yeah, we got there. Alright, we get another random prize. Okay. Makes me mad that we've got no cards from the new set. We only got a bunch of junk. Alright. I do hate that about these things. Just like, you're not going to give us new cards? That's weird. It's fine. If they don't want to give us new cards, it's fine. It's just, you know. DC Squid. Whew. Alright, this is a great hand. I'm happy to keep it. I don't want to use my Bushwhack to go get a land since they already have 3. So I'm not going to worry about it. I could go Argothian or I could play this. Yeah, I guess Argothian's a little bit better. Argothian Sprite. Yeah, this card's quite good. I think a lot of people are low on it, but this card's actually really strong. Like here, he cannot block this. So this card can block my 2/2. I'm kind of encouraged to just go for a 3/3 here and then Bushwhack this. Because the value on this card is ridiculous, and I don't think I want to keep it around. And Bushwhack is just a free, easy removal here on it. And now Bushwhack has killed that. Half of my card can trade for the Death Toucher, and then we can kind of just build up till we need to. Yeah, see. This card's really good. Yeah, this card's quite good, actually. Okay, Bone Saw. So I drew another Argothian Sprite. I think I'm definitely going to trade for this. I'm okay with trading for this. I don't need to trade for the Death Toucher here, but I will trade here. If they want. Ugh. I guess I can afford a swamp here. Yeah, we'll make the trade. Yeah, we'll sacrifice a swamp. And now we have the ability to attack. Since we need green in order to play this, I can afford a swamp there. Yeah, we did draw our most expensive card in our deck, but that's okay. All for the trade. Okay. Yeah, this Mishra is pretty nuts. Okay. I'm fine with that. I'm going to play this, but I'm not going to crack it. I have no reason to. Getting a random draw off this is kind of a waste of this card, especially since I have other cards I can use with it. Alright, yeah, so now we can turn it into a green mana. Nice. We go Opportunist here, into Sprite. So this is a trade, if they want to make it. We did not draw what we wanted, but I will offer the trade. If they have the draw spell, fine, whatever. They're kind of, if they don't have a draw spell, they're either priced into removing this. Yeah, they'll just put another trade fodder card. That's fine with me. Yeah. The fact that they're willing to trade their flyer for my guy is crazy. Okay, so we can put another 3/3 into play. Or we can opt to get that guy a little bit bigger. And we can, with a Power Stone here, this means we can activate this guy. Which is pretty awesome. That's pretty gross. Wow. Alright, I'll attack. If he wants to block with his rock, he can. Yeah, I guess we'll just play the spider here. If they have a counterspell, they'll have to use it. Drop them to 1. I will play my altar here, just in case they have something. It doesn't look like it. Alright. It looks like we got it. Our deck was pretty good. Ivory Tower. That's cool. Oh, man. That's cool. I didn't know they brought that back. That's actually really cool. Alright. You know, Brothers War has a lot of really cool iconic Magic cards in it, which are really, really sweet to see again. You know, old school Magic cards. Oh, that's cool. I think this card actually has the potential of being very good in Limited. We just have to figure out the precise deck you want to run this in, but I think it could be good. Okay, and that'll do it for us. Thanks for tagging along, watching us play our sealed deck. We could have gone a lot of different ways with our sealed, but based on what we saw, we just had a lot of really powerful cards. We never really got to see Grixis Command, but you can see how this card's really powerful. The spider was quite good. We got to see the stone retrieval look actually better than it would look on the surface because we had Argothian sprites. We also have these giant creatures. Most of the time this is fine. It's just a 3/5 reach with trample. But these Rust Goliaths are no joke. It's a very good card. Transmogrify Altar is not the greatest in our list, but it's very good in general. You saw how it went and changed the dynamic of our game against our opponent, who was way ahead of us, but we were able to just slowly will our life back while also gaining board presence, being able to add pressure to my opponent, make attacks where they don't want to block, but then turn them into vigilance essentially. So it's very good here. The infiltrator here, I feel like people draft this card way too highly, and kind of hurts their style of the list. I've drafted a few times already. I've went 7-2, and I think I went 5-3. I haven't only a couple times, but both times where I've seen and ran against like the sacrifice decks, they run into this issue where they draw too many of this card, and not enough sacrifice stuff, or they have enough sacrifice stuff, but they didn't draw this. You know, but they still drew way too many of this effect, and I was able to put too much pressure on them to where they couldn't really get over the across the line. I think this guy's good, but I don't think he's as good as you'd think it would be. And yeah, I feel like this card's actually really impressed me. At first, it looks kind of lame. You're like, pay 2 mana now, and then you can make a bigger creature later on. The fact that it has Unearth can help you out later in the game. It could both be make a giant creature and then make a defensive creature later on. And with all the power shards, no joke, power shards are so good in green, but they're just really good in general. There's so many effects that require you to have activated abilities, such as Argothian Sprite. We did get 4 of these in our list, so I feel like our deck was really strong. I feel like I could give this a 10 out of 10 sealed, which is kind of nuts, of just like the power level of it. We got Overwhelming Remorse. We got the Elsewhere Flask that kind of complements it. Corrupt. Corrupt as a 4 damage spell is fine. Anything less than that is kind of meh, but it can be explosive with the Flask. This card was kind of weak. It was okay in our match, but it wasn't as good as it could have been. We also had 2 Epic Confrontations, which are just good removal. The fact that you give something +1/+2 and then it fights something usually means your creature's going to win the fight. So the spot removal in this deck was also very good. So the removal in this format typically is going to be sorcery speed outside of Overwhelming Remorse. I mean, a lot of the removal in this format is sorcery speed. So you need to remember that. That sorceries are pretty much... That's the way they're going to kill your creatures. There's a lot of combat tricks that are interesting, like Military Discipline. This is a very good card. Watch out for it. It's difficult to see because only 1 mana. There's a lot of 1 mana spells your opponent could have. They could have this. They could also have Lauren's Escape, which is... Honestly, this is another removal spell in my opinion. When you can outmaneuver your opponent with giving your creature first strike and +1, that can actually be pretty good, and it's a permanent +1. There's also a Moment of Defiance. I'm kind of low on this card, mainly because it only gives you +2/+1. I would like to have seen it be more of a, maybe even just a +3 over, just so you can push that extra amounts of damage. Turn this more into like a cantrip, pumps, more like a Lightning Helix, but you have to attach it to a creature in order for you to get the benefit of the draw. And granted that if you have to pump your creature to trade with another creature, you're really still only losing 1 card out of it. This card is still fine. I just, if it would have given it +2/+2, I could see where this card would be problematic, but, I think it could have been a little bit better if it was a +3. But overall, I really like this set. They had a lot of really cool things. Our opponent was doing something cool there. Playing black-blue for the draw mechanic. Whenever you draw your second card, it does something. Those are really cool cards. Although I don't think they had like the best cards. And maybe that wasn't the best draw from them. So overall, just a friendly reminder. Just have as much fun as you can when you're doing this set. Mix and match. There's a lot of ways to fix your mana. There's a lot of cards here that look interesting. Like, there's a lot of cards that look just kind of lame, like Elsewhere's Flask. Don't be afraid to play this. Like, if you think it's not going to be good, it's probably not. But if you have, like, an exceptional card, 1-2 punch with this, it's really great. Elsewhere's Flask, the 1-2 punch with it is Corrupt. But there are 2 other cards in this set that I've seen so far that can play really well with Elsewhere's Flask. If you're, like, in a pinch, there's the 5-drop Wizard Artifact Construct. That's a 4/4 trample for 5, which is not great. but it can become a 6/6 if you played monocolored for it. And if you don't have like a bunch of power shards, this is a nice exception to the rule. Another card that plays well with the Elsewhere's Flask is the removal spell for 1 white, where it's you could exile something equal number of planes you control. Well, if you turn all your lands into planes, you can pretty much hit anything for 1 white, and that could be huge. So there's a lot of cards in this format that are crazy. Like Sigil of Valor is an incredibly good card, but you have to have a very creature heavy list that can play this card. Like my deck wasn't creature heavy. It had a lot of beef, but I had so much removal. And removal overall is going to beat a Sigil of Valor most of the time. But if you have flyers and good creatures on the ground, Sigil of Valor can be very powerful and very explosive. So this is a really good card. Maybe don't count it out. It looks kind of weird, but it's actually quite good. I remember getting this in limited a lot, and people just laughing at me. Oh, you only get to attack with 1 creature, and I'm like, yeah, you're taking 10 this turn, and it's a flyer, and you can't block it. So another card that looks kind of bad on the surface is the Swiftgear Drake. Reason why I didn't play it, I had too many other good cards I wanted to play, but this card's actually quite good. Putting a card on the bottom of your library is actually very common in the getting into the late game and decking yourself is a real thing. I've won several games with no cards left in my library, but because of cards like this, the Spider, and there's a couple others that put stuff on the bottom of your deck just randomly, it's really good. A 2/4 flying haste is not exciting, but it's an artifact, so it's going to be a little bit janky. But the ability to also stifle your opponent's unearthed cards is huge, so it's something to keep in mind. Like Will of Lost Dreams, this is almost never going to see play. You have to have like really consistent ways to life gain in order for this to come into your deck. And if you just don't have that, it's just going to be garbage. And the same to be true about Goblin Charbelcher. This would have been a fun card to goof off with. But the problem with this card is that you really need to put mountains in your deck, and you need to have pretty much all mountains in your deck, and kind of have like a set strategy that when I draw this card, I'm going to win the game in the next 2 or 3 turns with this card. Because you just go to the dome with this. You could also use it as a way to kill your opponent's stuff. I don't know how many times I've seen people try that with this card, and it just fail because they reveal the one non-mountain in their deck, or their one non-basic land that they had to play because it's good enough to run, and it just completely hosing them every time, or flipping this and just not hitting a land on top of your deck. You have to have a very specific plan for Charbelcher to be good. It's not terrible in limited. It probably could have been in my deck, but it's fine. It's a fun card. I think people should try it out and at least experiment with it. The Brainstone, this card is just terrible in general. You're not going to want to run this in your limited. It can be good in a sideboard situation, like if your opponent shows a lot of like unearth cards. That's when the Brainstone could be strong, because unearth can be oppressive. They did a pretty good job at balancing it, but it can be oppressive, and it's just nice to see what your opponent's playing with. So there's that. And then this Energy Refractor. This is a pretty good card. It's a cantrip that has the ability to fix your mana. So I feel like they kind of made it to where you can splash other colors and kind of work with other decks. Like we could have easily splashed for this deck and went like red-green splash for just these 2 cards alone would have been fine. That up the power level of our early drops. And this guy's actually quite strong. But like, and I could have splashed for Mishra's Command. This card is meh. I'm not impressed by it. And this is difficult to splash for. If we had better red cards, I think we would have been in a heavier red deck. But our green and our black were just so good that we couldn't really kind of go away from it. This is just a good card in general. A card that can ramp you while putting your opponent back is huge. This card, if the format gets to an excessive level of aggro, and you want to play like a certain kind of ramp deck, this card could see standard play. That's how powerful I think this card is. But, to each their own on that one. All right, without further ado, thank you for watching. I really enjoy having this time with you on YouTube. Let me know if in the comments below if you want to see different content, how I can help you out in any way, shape, or form. I am pretty good at the game. I'm not perfect at the game. I have my problems, but I've been playing this game for over 20 years. I really love the game. It's got me hooked for a real long time. Um, just let me know. And thanks for watching. Peace.